Hello, my name is Ant, and I want to talk to you about Passover, and specifically unleavened bread. Currently we're in the feast of Passover, and for 7 days we eat unleavened bread. Why is that? And what does it mean? Well, there's a lot of significance today, even for Christians. So I'm going to read out of Exodus chapter 12, verses 16 to 18, and it says this: "On the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and on the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation for you. No manner of work shall be done on them, but that which everyone must eat, that only may be prepared by you. So you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For on this same day I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day throughout your generations as an everlasting ordinance. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening." All right, so this was before the law. The law was handed down 50 days later on Mount Sinai when Moses received the 10 Commandments. So it still is applicable to us today. What's the lesson in it? The Bible is full of object lessons, and that's precisely what this is. You might recall that in Genesis, at the start in creation, God created the world in 6 days, and then on the 7th day he rested. So there was 7 days all up. And that's why he told Israel to observe the Sabbath, that 7th day of rest. It sets a pattern, because for 6 days the world is underneath the slavery of Satan and sin, which produced tears and misery and slavery, which is what Passover is all about. But on the 7th day we rest, because that's when the Messiah comes back. For another 1,000 years he will have his 1,000-year millennial reign. 6,000 years of misery, which is what we're living in at the moment. You see all the wars and all the other terrible things happening. But then 1,000 years will be rest. That's the pattern that Jesus set, that God set in the whole thing. So when we take unleavened bread, when we have Passover for 7 days, we are doing something completely different. Instead of being leavened by the sin of the world, we are unleavened. We are separate. It's a sign to us to be separate. And in him we find rest. Now here is some matzah. This is some unleavened bread. You'll notice it's flat. It's got no leaven in it. It's pierced all through it, and it's got this striped pattern on it. And in Isaiah 53, it says that he was pierced for our transgressions, for our iniquities he was striped, and also we know that he is unleavened, he is without sin. Now that's important, because when we eat this unleavened bread, we remember that we're partaking of Christ. Christ said that he is the bread of life. He's the unleavened bread of life. And he's also the one that was pierced for us and striped for us. He's the one that brought us healing. Now that unleavened bread is very symbolic. It's an object lesson. And just as much as that's an object lesson there, it's an object lesson to us to remember that we are separate from the world. Jesus, the bread of life, who was born in Bethlehem, and Bethlehem means the house of bread, he came to set us free from the bondage and slavery of sin. So when we partake of that, we remember for 7 days, even though the world is underneath slavery, we are separate. We have been separated in Christ. We have been set free from sin. We are no longer underneath that bondage and slavery. And this is also a call for us to be separate, to be different from the world. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for listening in. God bless, and bye for now.